Baron, the title of the record, of course, and that's from Shocking Blue. And as I said, I think that was the year of 1970. But don't quote me on it, because I'm not quite sure. I have it in the book that tells me exactly when. But I could check it for it, I suppose, while I'm off the ship. Anyway, an excellent record, and one that I thought ought to have been released in the United Kingdom. Now, for its interest coming up for you now for Hit Back Competition number 5. We've got one here from Caroline Harvey for 47 the Thoroughfare Halsworth in Suffolk. One from Byron Halston, 83A Magdalen Way, Galston, Yarmouth in Norfolk. One from Tony Taylor, King Abraham's Road, Hendy on Thames in Oxon. Hi there.
Finished my beautiful smiling to say that I'm leaving. Maybe you'd like to fly with me and ride with me, baby. Isn't it strange to change?
And these Olivia tremor controls just slide effortlessly from one track into another, and without much charm or finesse or coordinational control, that makes it very, very difficult for the Bogusman to handle, as clearly demonstrated there. But I thought that Olivia tremor control track from the very late 90s was, well, Pink Floyd-esque. They were drawing their influences from the psychedelic movement of the late 60s. And of course you will know that we started the programme with a Pink Floyd single from the back end of 78, Point Me at the Sky and Let It Fly. We're careful with that axe, Eugene, on the B-side. So what have we got on the programme for you today? Well, lots of archive recordings, because we know you simply love and lap up the archive recordings. So I've gone into the cases and I've located on these very, very old-fashioned cassette tape devices, and these vintage recordings. No, we haven't got any vintage recordings for you today. I'm very sorry to disappoint the listeners. So tune off now if you're into the vintage recordings. We don't have any at all. Well, actually, that's a lie. That's a falsehood. We do have quite a few, but we let them lie. We let sleeping dogs lie, I think. There is a station, of course, that specialises in these, and they're very, very good. As you know, and the Bogusman is certainly on, without question. It's on this channel, phono number 5. And we go back to the, I think this is the late 90s or the early noughties. I haven't checked the date on this one. But this is, well, I suppose, semi-modern psychedelia, if you like. We're in a little bit of a psychedelic mood today, you will have noted. And Swedish band, the soundtrack of our lives. And this is 7-inch single, Mantra Slider. Just put the slider up here. psychedelic, isn't it? Yeah, it's a 7-inch single and it is on 33. Just to prove to you that we are playing genuinely. We're not downloading or uploading or streaming. We are playing genuine vinyl, but this is what can happen. And I think you might like to do an edit there, Bogusman, but, well... Was that an auditory delusion? Pinky and Perky's version. Pinky and Perky go psychedelic, and I think they probably did at some point in their career. I'm sure there are outings for the Pinky and Perky genre where they are psychedelic. But this isn't. This is the soundtrack of our lives. Take 2 and Mantra Slider. There it is. That is from the album A Miracle, Heidi Berry from 1996 on 4 AD and Time. It's all running away with us now, isn't it? Interesting, reading an article relating to the closure of the very famous or infamous Watford Gap service station just north of London in the Groniad recently, and there were some quite salacious and interesting anecdotes relating to the groups that were around at that time that were using it often in the early hours of the morning. And in fact, he did mention that Jimi Hendrix was that out of it. He thought it was a club, but in fact it was a motorway service station that's now being put to the plough, which is, I don't think I ever went to the Watford Gap services. I think Newport Pagnell services was the closest I ever got, but there was nothing really interesting happening there, and it was a very, very, very long time ago. And somebody whose carbon footprint is pretty much zero, you might know that I don't use traditional motor cars very often. But this article did mention a track by Roy Harper that referenced the Watford Gap services that was recorded in 1977. He wasn't that complimentary. In fact, I would, having listened to this track, which is on the B-side of One of Those Days in England, that's it, Ingerland, England, One of Those Days in England. He didn't really get into the swing of it, shall we say, and was not entirely complimentary about the Watford Gap services. So as they are now closing, I think that we'll play this track by Roy Harper. And it is on at the right speed. Just check that it is Bogusman. Yes, it is. It's Roy Harper with Watford Gap. creating the live experience, such as, well, in the same way as possibly vaping replicates smoking, but perhaps not a good comparison there. So, just occurred to me that group, the Vapors, that had a hit in 1980 were well ahead of their time with the name. Certainly, they wouldn't have realised it. Anyway, I made an executive decision that we're going to incorporate some new music, tracks from contemporary albums during the second segment and perhaps towards the first segment of Bogusman programming today. And just to prove it, as a I will do with this clientele. I'm dying in May.